We're going to talk about the nature of assisting babies with the toilet. So, assisting babies with the toilet is a Montessori concept. I want to read a couple of quotes to you from Maria Montessori herself to start off on this topic. And this really, if you haven't looked into Montessori at all, I highly recommend a book called Montessori from the Start. That'll give you a nice little intro to Montessori. But EC is very much in alignment with Montessori, although we start earlier. All right, she said in 1946, we must help children from the very beginning. We must give them the right environment because they have to adapt themselves to a strange new world. So, you guys, the potties are not natural. Going to the bathroom on a potty is not natural, but wanting to go not on your caregiver, not on yourself, not in your bed is 100% natural. So, setting up the environment for success with the right potties. If you don't have them, please visit me at tinyandes.com. But you got to have the environment set up for ease of helping the child help themselves. Another quote from Maria: to give our children a fine start in life, we must see that their surroundings satisfy their need for activity and development, remembering at the same time that our own part is not that of instructor and interferer, but of helper. Again, we're assisting our babies by doing EC training with something that they can't do by themselves until they can do it by themselves. And even then, we're still assisting a little bit more as needed, of course. But we're not the interferer and we're not the instructor. We're the helper. We're helping to aid the natural instincts for independence in this. Another one, the adult must not interfere, must not act instead of the child. Give him the means and let him act. His freedom consists of this. So Maria was very much about freedom. I'm the same kind of person. Love my own freedom, my children to feel free, and also not doing things for my kids that they can do themselves. There's one little exception to this. I've been reading the 5 love languages for children, and I do have a couple of children who their love language is acts of service. So sometimes they're like, I can't put my shoes on. I'm like, you're 7. Yes, you can. They just want me to show them I love them. So I put their shoes on and they feel filled up. So little bitty thing I wanted to insert there, but give him the means and let him act. Great. Because if we do everything for our children when they're capable of doing it themselves, we are robbing them of the opportunity to live and breathe in an autonomous manner. And then they're dependent on us. And then when we send them off when they're 18, 20, whatever, they can't function and we wonder why. So we want to not act instead of the child. And Maria says, the child sees the same action repeated at the same time every day in the same way. This attracts his attention. Children have a sense of the succession of activities in time. It is like a muscular memory, a memory of movement and of time. This is from the 1946 London Lectures, page 131. And oh my goodness, doesn't that resonate with what we're doing with EC? When we just do the 4 easy catches, we figure out which ones are we going to offer if we're doing part-time EC, which most people do. I'm going to offer at wake-ups. I'm going to offer at every diaper change. I'm going to offer when I see the signal for a poop or a sign of a poop. I'm going to offer before putting them in or taking them out of something. The 4 easy catches. This is the same action repeated the same time in the same way every day. This does attract their attention. And it also, doing the whole routine, and I don't have my board book handy, but my board book, Tiny Potty, talks about the whole routine. And we have this succession of activities that really attracts our children. It builds their muscle memory. It's really great for them. And the next quote is, we must give him the means and encourage him. Courage, my dear, courage. Encourage means giving someone courage. You are a new man that must adapt to this new world. Go on triumphantly. I am here to help you. This kind of encouragement is instinctive in those who love children, which is all of you. But yeah, encouraging is different from rewarding or coercing or persuading. Encouraging is giving them the courage by giving them the means, which is setting up the environment for them, being intentional and repetition in your movements and your timing, and just loving on them by wanting them to succeed and showing them that with what we're doing. I am here to help you. I love that. And the next one is imitation is the tool given by nature to children to help them adapt to the particular place where they were born. So their culture, their state, country, city, whatever. And that enables them to adapt to the customs of their specific environment. So we use toilets, we wear clothes, we wear underwear. We do stuff like, well, most of us do. We do stuff like that I live in the United States, in Asheville, North Carolina. So, what does my child need to know to live in this environment? And I'm going to be teaching partially through imitation or partially through modeling, and my children imitate what I model. And that helps with adaptation. So, a lot of people criticize, not a lot, but as it becomes a little bit more accessible to more people in the mainstream, EC is seen as coercive or too early or not honoring that a baby is a baby and all these other sound bites. But what it is not is just training and you have to do this. It's helping our children adapt to the environment in which they live, where we use toilets and we wear clothing. And none of us, all mammals, nobody wears their toilet. Nobody. This is a new thing for children, human children. And the last quote I want to share before I just say some words about this is that the child does not work in order to move or in order to become intelligent. He works to adapt to his environment. It is essential that he has many experiences in the environment if he is to do this. So, a lot of you have mentioned that you have trouble with consistency, and episode 166 on my podcast totally talks about dealing with your own inconsistencies with EC. And I have wonderful solutions to get you back on track. We all fall off the wagon, but the child does this work. Maria always calls the child's work in order to adapt. And it's essential that they have lots of chances to practice, whether it results in a pee in the potty or not. So that's just a little bit from what she has to say about assisting babies with anything. And what we're talking about today is the toilet. So again, like I already said, we are not potty training. We are assisting and helping our children adapt to their culture. We are not their instructors, although sometimes we do teach them things regarding the toilet. And we are not interfering in the processes. I talk a lot about giving privacy and how to do that. We really want to support. We are their helpers. We want to assist by setting up the environment for success. So in my new version of my book, Go Diaper Free, there's a photo gallery of all of these different potty stations. I also have that in my Movers and Shakers program. So you can see visually all the different potty stations that are possible, just having everything there, everything kid size, everything accessible and reachable, and nothing that they shouldn't be messing with near them. We want to assist by believing in them, encouraging. We have this mindset and attitude towards our babies that they are capable. They are capable, and we know this because in 1957, 92% of babies and toddlers in the United States were finished with toilet training by 18 months old. Now that has over doubled because of the diaper companies. Clearly, they have been marketing the crap out of those stupid things and have really convinced us to wait and wait and wait. But when we realize that that is not natural and letting babies be babies doesn't really add up, we realize that babies are born capable. They are born capable and we don't need to wait for readiness. If you look at the scientific studies, they're all BS. They don't have any basis in what's reliable and valid data. So they were also done by Brazelton, who is a pediatrician who's the head of the University of Pampers. Do the math. So we need to reset our mindset and our attitude from what the culture thinks to this attitude of my baby is totally capable of this and believe in them. That all babies before disposable diapers really took over in the 60s and really before cloth diapers a couple hundred years ago were pottied in this way, which therefore means that all of them are capable. We just have to learn as the parents. And that's where I come in. I will help you with that. We want to assist them as their helper by showing them how to do the whole routine. Also, by showing them how to be in this world, by being ourselves, we use a toilet, we use clothing, we do this and that. And repetition with taking them to the potty, even if it's just one time a day that you can be consistently. We want to assist them by prompting and reminding them in a nonverbal way. So I spent some time in Africa many, many years ago, and they just didn't really talk about anything with their babies much. They just acted and did things with their babies. And these moms were amazing. You could tell they were pros. They would take their baby in nonverbal ways and just take care of things, and these babies were totally happy. I was only 20, mind you, so that was my unscientific analysis of the situation. But I did notice that there was a lot of nonverbal communication. And if you watch the documentary called Babies, other cultures talk way less than we do in America, at least. And the last thing is we want to be their helpers by assisting them by wiping and helping them to pull their pants up and down until they can do it on their own, and by demonstrating how to do that, including how to mount the potty. And all of that stuff in my Passing the Baton program, which is for 12 to 18-month-olds, there is, I include the Isadora Teaches video library. It's a private video series of when my daughter was 3 years old, teaching your child how to get on and off the potty, how to pull pants up and down. It's a really popular series for all of our book owners who have the Tiny Potty Training book. I've included it in the Passing the Baton program because it's really, between 12 and 18 months is really a good time to start teaching those things. And that is one way we can assist them. We're not just teaching them like math out of the blue at 2 years old. Instead, we are teaching them how to do part of a process that they're trying to master already. I hope that that makes sense. So that is a little bit about the nature of assisting babies with the toilet, a la Maria Montessori. I hope you found that very helpful.